welcome to the weekly episodic sports entertainment show starring me, Jason Miller. This edition of Raw was just okay. Wasn't great. Some things I have issues with, some things I thought were good. Let's start out with the panel. If you're going to have that kind of star power in Hogan, Flair, and Shawn Michaels, shouldn't they be more impactful somehow? I don't know. I just felt like it had a lot to be desired. They could have did more with the panel. I mean, they all gave their opinions, and the opinions differed a little bit. It was a little bit fun to watch Hogan and Michaels have a little bit of jabs at each other, because I think they really don't like each other in real life. So I think that was sort of interesting. But and then of course Cena comes out and cuts a kind of a bland promo for Cena. I mean, they didn't go with his character later in the show. We'll talk about that. Then the first match you had Rusev and Swagger. Again, another good match between those two. But, you know, why have the Mark Henry run in the last few weeks and then not have him come there? That to me seemed like a perfect spot for Henry. And you know the answer is that they don't have two storylines for Henry. Henry's doing something in the tag team scene. So make up your mind. That's why I had issues with the original run-in from Henry. They sort of make you forget about it. So, I mean, maybe it'll bring it back. They almost have to, because Rusev's got nowhere to go. I have no idea where he's going for this pay-per-view. And then the Cesaro RVD #1 contender for the U.S. title match, that was the way it should have went. It was short, sweet. Cesaro won decisively, and that's good news. And if you want me to go out on a limb, and this is a huge limb, well, small fingers, but huge limb, I see the perfect opportunity for WWE to have a double turn here. Cesaro and Sheamus switch. That's what they can do at the pay-per-view. And I think that would do wonders for both of those characters. I think Cesaro, people want to cheer the swing. If he breaks out the swing, they'll turn on Sheamus. Sheamus will get mad at the crowd. And I don't even care who wins the title match. I just want to see the double turn at Night of Champions. That's what I want to see. And then Paige and Natalya. Actually, it didn't really make sense, because I'm not sure how many matches Natalya has to win in order to get a title match. But it did actually create some suspense, because I thought, well, if Natalya wins this third one, she's got to be the Night of Champions contender. You know what I mean? She's going to be the one going against Paige for the title at Night of Champions. But it didn't work out that way, obviously, as Paige won. The part that I had issues with is the weird mind games that they're trying to play. It's not fun. I mean, if they just had each other just be angry and hate each other, that would be good. But the weird mind games and like, I love you, and they really don't love you, it's stupid. I don't like it. So, wish they would tell that story better, because they could. That brought us into the Ambrose eulogy, which I thought went a little bit too long. Of course, it would have been nice to see Ambrose, but I know he's gone, doing the movie thing right now. I do like the idea that when Ambrose comes back, he's going to have he's going to have one of those epic pops when he comes back. So that excites me, that the crowd will go nuts when he does come back. As far as Reigns, I mean, you kind of get what you get. I find it hard to believe that they're going to have the same formula for Reigns for every single match, and his same 2 moves that he does. Well, 3, because he does the kick outside of the ring, when the guy's out and he kicks him in the head. So he's got 3 big moves that he does, and that's it. That's all he's got. I find it hard to believe this is the guy that they're milking to be the main event guy to win that WrestleMania next year. I still am very, very skeptical, and everybody online thinks that. You look around and you find all the wrestling sites, they all say that's what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't, because I think it's a bad way. I mean, I think Reigns can be groomed into something better. I'm not saying he couldn't do it in the future, but April's coming quicker than you think. I know it does. I know it sounds like it's a far time away, but I don't know. I don't think he'll be ready by then. Then you had the Goldust, Stardust, and the Usos. Couple things. It was a good match. I just don't think the heel turn was the right thing to do for the Dust Brothers. They need they're quirky, so they kind of want to. They almost have to be liked because just that's the nature of their. You know, I mean, I'm interested in what kind of promos they're going to cut as heels. That's going to be weird. And in order to get the heat when you turn heel, to get the crazy heat, you have to have faces that you're turning against that are very, very popular. And the Usos are just, I don't think the crowd goes nuts over the Usos. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't think the crowd's that nuts for them. So, and also with the Usos, update your theme song, man. I mean, that song sounds like it is right out of 2002. Make it updated, make it newer. You can do that somehow, some way. You know, I don't have a problem. You know, trust me, I'm a DJ. I love hip hop music, but come on, make it newer, okay? There's no reason why you can't. But back to the original thing. I think the Dust Brothers. This whole thing is going towards a four-way. I think it's going to be 4 teams in a 4 corners match at Night of Champions. I think that's where they're going with it. Then, actually, I don't know what it says about this episode of Raw that this was my favorite part, but it was. Was Damian Sandow being The Miz, who he's so talented. He really is. He's hilarious. I find him. I mean, like I said, a lot of the stuff he does is really stupid, but it's not his fault because that's what he's handed by creative. But that was actually fun, and The Miz is doing a great job with his character. I don't know if people are giving him enough props for what he's doing, but he is a lot more entertaining than he was in the previous heel role. This is a lot more funny. I like it. And the match itself was pretty good. It was short, but it served its purpose on all levels. I still hope that there's some future for Sandow. I think he could be, I don't know, he could get serious and be a solid heel. It's not impossible. It's highly unlikely, I do know, but it would be nice. And then you've got the Bella sisters. Man, honestly, Nikki was a lot better than I thought she'd be. Brie was horrendous. Just terrible, man. If you can't cry on cue, then get out of this business. I'm serious. I mean, that was some of the fakest crying. I don't see how that's okay. And I think you know what? I'm not even upset at the Bella sisters as much as I am for creative for thinking that they could carry that storyline and have a freaking 8-minute segment on Raw, because they can't. They just don't have that ability. It's not like they're new and they want to try to give them this chance. They've been around for 8 years. They know better. Then you've got Swagger. So yeah, sorry, I had to move locations because of technical difficulties there. But anyway, yeah, so Swagger got the bow. Which obviously was the next step in that storyline. I'm not exactly sure who goes over in that rivalry. I guess that's going to be one of the other matches at Night of Champions. But speaking of that, okay, that brings us to the main event, which is Cena and Wyatt. And I understand having to present Cena in such a manner that he looks like a threat to Lesnar because of the way they've already written this storyline. So yes, I understand that he needed a dominant win, but why feed him Wyatt? Why? Of all the people on the roster, it really had to be Wyatt? You couldn't find somebody else? Because Wyatt has no direction going into the pay-per-view either. I have no idea what's going on there. I don't know. That was honestly, I think that was my biggest issue of Raw last night, was the lack of, I mean, the Wyatts have done everything right. I mean, they're getting all kinds of fan reaction. They're not going anywhere, and it's not just Bray. I mean, the tag team is struggling too, because I mean they really got beat down by the Big Show and Mark Henry. And again, I think those two teams are going to be with the Dust Brothers and the Usos in a 4-way. I think that's the route that they're going to go. And that match actually should be very good at the pay-per-view. But either way, I think Raw was just kind of average. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, and this is actually very, very exciting to me, the Monday Night Raw War episodes, the Monday Night War, so far I've seen the first 2 shows, and it's amazing. If you have not seen that yet, I mean, one thing that the WWE does better than anybody else is their production value and it is tremendous. And the interviews with all the other people, and especially today's stars, that's what I like. I like hearing what, what Daniel Bryan and The Miz and Kofi Kingston and these guys say about what they thought back then in the late 90s, because that's kind of what I was like. A lot of the stuff that they're saying is exactly what I felt like when I was watching it. And just the behind the scenes stuff with the Hall and Nash contracts and stuff, it's fantastic. If you have not seen that yet, hurry up and go watch it. The best part about it is that I think if again, Wikipedia is my source, so I'm not sure if it's great, but there's going to be 18 more episodes of this. So it's going to be 20 shows about the Monday Night War. And so far, the first 2 were fantastic. Make sure you see it. Do not miss it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It should be, I hate to say this, but it might be a long 3 weeks, because, that pay-per-view is not until September 21st. So I think they need to get some of the big names. I want to see what's Wyatt going to do in a couple of weeks. Where's he going to be? They need to progress the storyline here, but they've got time. They've got 3 weeks, so hopefully the storyline starts to move.